Today we are going to take a look at Pikamoon, which is an NFT-based play-to-earn game, which you might have seen already, but I will take you guys through this anyways. Before we talk about this project, let's go through the current situation of PIKA, which is their token. And as you can see right here on CoinMarketCap, we have some motion, but it's technically just sideways motion, meaning that we are just waiting on something big to happen. On the left side, you can see that we are looking at about 50 billion coins, PIKA coins to be exact, which have a total market cap of about $18.7 million, which isn't a lot, but in my opinion, this project looks promising, and this means that you can earn a lot of money if you invest in this token. Since having a low market cap makes it possible to get easy 10, 20 or even 50x's on your investment. And as you also can see right here, right now in the last 7 days we have minus 5.7% on the Pikamoon coin, which isn't a lot, but as I said before, we are looking at a micro cap coin, which means that fluctuation is normal and can happen pretty quickly. If you take a look at the other gaming related crypto tokens, you can see that the motion Pikamoon is doing is pretty similar to the big tokens. Immutable X even down 8%, Floki, Notecoin and Beam just moving sideways, and even one of our favorites, Axie Infinity, which is probably one of the biggest crypto related games, is down 1.4%, which obviously all of that is related to Bitcoin, which right now is going through sideways motion, which we just need to wait to end and get Bitcoin pumping again, which would then lead to the fact that most cryptocurrencies just move with Bitcoin and more people are willing to invest in different projects, like for example Pikamoon, which you can buy on BitGet and Maxi and also can swap into on Uniswap. If you're interested in how to get the PIKA coin on Uniswap, you just need to go on CoinMarketCap, copy this address, go on Uniswap, select token, paste your address in, and you got the PIKA token. And with the current situation explained, let's take a look at Pikamoon in general. Pikamoon is, as I said, an NFT-based play-to-earn game, with their native token being the PIKA token. Right below you can see a trailer for their open world game, which looks pretty promising, but as always, we need to wait if and when this launches. Next up, for one of probably the next big releases, Pikamoon has planned the Pikamoon Battle Arena, which you can see right here. And I zoom in a little bit so you can see how this looks. And as you can see, we got a day and night map, which both look pretty good, but I prefer the night map since you don't get this bright light scarring your eyes. And if you're interested in who is working behind this project, you can see it right here on their Twitter page, which in my opinion is a pretty important fact, knowing who is working on the project and also how much effort they put into this. If you are interested in how they do this and how everything works, you can go on the Pikamoon YouTube channel, which is a place where you can see that they also have a lot of game related facts and also behind the scenes, which this one is about an hour long, which is quite a long time which is quite long considering that this is a behind the scenes. But as I said before, in my opinion, it's a pretty important thing that the whole team is doxed and you can see how much effort they put into this project, which you are probably or might invest into. And if you don't have that much time to look through all of the videos, I would recommend you to take a look at the first one at least, because this one is the most important one in my opinion, in which the game and all the mechanisms of the game will be explained. In front of us you can see the table of contents, with, in my opinion, the most important things being the unique features and the monetization part. For the unique features we get Pikamoons, which will be the characters you can play, the weather system, corruption zone and procedural surfaces. With some of those things being this special that you cannot even find those in AAA titles on PlayStation 5 or on the PC. The monetization part is really important. I would recommend you to, and if you're interested in this project, I would recommend you to watch at least these, 5 or 10 minutes, 3 minutes, and take a look at it, because having a game which isn't pay to win and just having in-game cosmetic purchases and a battle pass is pretty nice, because in-game cosmetics, we all know from games like League of Legends or Counter-Strike, are just things to make the game look better for you, and also you probably can buy pretty expensive skins which you then can flex on your enemies. And a battle pass which to be honest I'm not a big fan of, but every other game is implementing a battle pass right now, so it's an easy way to get some cash flow into the system. Next up, let's take a look at this pretty bright Medium article about Pika Royale Battle Pass, which is coming to the Pikaverse very soon. And also for this, I'm not a big fan of Battle Royale, since the only Battle Royale I have really played is probably Warzone, and I sucked at that. But as long as we are not looking at a Fortnite version in the metaverse, this might be decent. And below this fancy artwork, which reminds me of Pokemon evolutions, because those look pretty similar, those two, those not really, but they are probably water element creatures. Here we got the video I recommended you before, right here, this one, which is the behind the scenes of the project. Below we can find the objectives of the Pika Royale, which is exploration, loot and capture, and also combat, which is probably the key things for a battle royale. Going further, we can see the combat explanation, in which you can see that there will be different kinds of playstyles, which is something that I really like, considering the fact that most battle royales are just shoot each other and then find better loot to survive. The different playstyles in this game will be assault, stealth, tank and ranged, which is something that, as I said, I really like. Below this we can see the weapons. There will be in total 12 weapons, 8 of those being melee and 4 being ranged. And those 12 weapon kinds will then have different weapons you can play, which, for example, the archery, and for example there will be 3 kinds of bows, the longbow, the short bow and the recurve bow, which you then can also combine with different kinds of arrows. Going even further, we can see that there also will be an armor system, with those being divided into 3 different kinds: head armor, lower body and upper body armor, with those probably being divided in heavy, medium and lightweight armor, considering that you probably will not use heavy armor running around with a bow. And now you might ask yourself, how do you get access to all of these items? There will be different kinds of loot, which you can find all around the Pika Royale map. For those there will be the environmental loot, player loot and AI enemies, which is something that I really like, having like mini bosses which you can fight even though you are playing with up to 64 different people. And besides the loot you can find wandering around the map, you can also find Pikamoon creatures, which will spawn scattered around the map, and you can catch those to gain abilities which might even help you with fighting the enemies. Some of those abilities are, for example, the offense ones, which are use firebolts, fire zones, lightning bolts, ice patches and freezing effects, which are pretty convenient if you have to fight different players. The player progression will then look like this. You have to play to level up and then get rewards, and this cycle continues up to a point where you don't want to play anymore or you achieved everything you wanted. And if you don't have friends to play with, you can then queue into the solo match. But also, if you have friends, you can go into duos or even squads with up to 4 players in your team. And for the game in general, here are the mechanics. Obviously there will be movement, which is explained right here. Then there will be a Nexus weather system, which is something I really like, because simple things like a weather system makes games more enjoyable if you are playing a couple games in a row. And also there will be procedural surfaces, with those being fire surfaces, water surfaces, poison, lava, oil, electrical fields, ice surfaces, acid surfaces, mud surfaces and corrupted surfaces, which will spawn randomly around the map, making every other map unique. And lastly, the thing that every battle royale has is the corruption zone, which surrounds the safe zone, shrinking it over time, which then leads to more and more PvP fights which you are forced into. And now, after everything I have told you about Pikamoon, the Pika token and the Pikaverse and also the Pika Royale, you might ask yourself if you want to invest into this project or not. Some things that I haven't mentioned yet, which you probably should consider, are the fact that they are planning to redesign the website, create a new roadmap, do a rebranding, add additional marketing campaigns, also do some sneak peeks, and obviously there will be a big NFT drop pretty soon. Which might sound like a lot of things they have planned, but for now they have delivered on everything they have promised, which is something that in the metaverse or crypto gaming scene seems to be pretty rare, because most projects just promise different things they want to accomplish and want to be the next big Axie Infinity or something similar, but they just promise and don't deliver at all. Which for now, and this is just my opinion, which I made by going through this rabbit hole of Pikamoon and going through everything that they have published for now. I do think that they can achieve everything that they have promised, and at one point, maybe in 1, 2, 3 or 5 years, we will see Pikamoon as one of the big players in the crypto gaming scene. Because as I said, building trust with your community and delivering on the promises you make is something really important, which obviously is rough, but it's important. And if you think about different examples for projects that haven't delivered on their promises, one of those being Star Atlas. Because I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, you were able to buy their tokens and they did pretty well at the beginning, but they have just promised and never delivered on their promises, which is a big red flag if you want to invest in something. Which brings me to the end of this video, and the only last thing I want to say is bye bye!